this is one of the things I talk about even at my events in terms of pushing yourself to go out there and opening the gates for other people. So many people, we don't do enough, but we complain that society's not fair, the community's not growing. But sometimes what people need is just to see one person do it and to say, okay, it is possible. Let me try and do it. So, cool, how are you guys? Good. So I haven't seen you guys in months. When did you do your training with me?
Last time was August?
Was it August?
It might have been August.
Was the last one in August? Yeah, it was.
That was summertime. Deal packaging in August.
Yeah.
It was deal packaging.
Yeah, because we got the property in October, November.
Yeah, that's right.
Was
it was October, because I remember we
was it not September?
We got it. We initially got the deal and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Came through in September.
Yeah.
But we had about a month to turn it around, so it was ready for business.
Yeah.
How important would you say that was, having time to get it ready?
Hugely.
Yeah.
And even the time we had,
we needed more.
You needed more, right?
And I think that actually is a balance, because I feel like, because Tira's the kind of person to prep and to make sure that everything's exactly perfect before you get on. But you could do that for ages.
That's the thing. So if you had 6 months, you'll still be saying, I need more time, and I need more time.
I was like that. I was like, no, we can't go yet because we haven't got this in place. We haven't got this in place. And Carl was like, no, let's just do it and
force yourself to.
Which is good. It worked.
Do you know what? Let's even start, because I should have started by doing an introduction.
Sure.
Maybe I should even tell people who I am first. I don't know where this is going to end up. Hi guys, I'm TJ, and then you guys can introduce yourselves and tell people what you do, and actually call yourselves property investors. So the last few interviews I've done, I say, so how would you call yourself? What would you call yourself? And people are like, I'm a because they don't want to say they're property investors, but the fact is, you are a property investor, and you should wear it like a sign on your head. I am a property investor.
I'm Carl Francis.
Yes.
I'm a property investor.
Yes, you are. Got off my chest.
Finally say it.
Yes.
You're a property investor.
Yeah, and I'm T. Francis, and I'm a property investor.
Fantastic. But you both have, and this is interesting, so this interview is probably just going to go up and down. The reason I wanted to do this interview, I haven't caught up with these guys in quite some time. So they did some training with me and they just ran off with it. And I feel kind of abandoned because they're doing so well and they kind of don't need me. And I'm needy, I'm like, need me.
They still want to bother you.
They want to bother you. And number two, we thought, when we see them, we're going to bombard them.
Yeah, you did say that. So you did some training with me. How did we meet? How did we connect? Where did we start?
So I joined a few Facebook forums. I just put in serviced accommodation into the search on Facebook, and joined a few groups. And I put into one group, if anyone's interested in mentoring or giving me advice, anything, just starting out, not really sure what kind of strategy I want to do, and you messaged me and said that you have training.
Yes.
And that.
So I kind of stalked you.
No, it was really
That's what it sounded like on the camera.
No, you answered. No, you didn't.
You found me out of nowhere.
Yeah. Have you guys watched that show? You. The fact that you knew. I'm looking at property.
Now I think, right, was that one of your employees doing that message because you don't have time, or do you manage
No, it was me. It was me completely. Was that on? It was Facebook, or was it my business page?
No, it was Facebook.
No, it was Facebook.
I think it was the London. It was like London Property something. It was one of those.
Oh, so a Facebook group.
It was a Facebook group.
No. It would have been me. So, guys, I'm not that famous. I still operate my own social media. No, that was me. Yeah. But interesting. Before we even go deeper into that, you mentioned you typed in serviced accommodation.
Yeah.
Why and how did you become accustomed to the idea of serviced accommodation? What was it about serviced accommodation? Because most people say property investing. They get inspired to go into property investing. Why serviced accomadation?
I think it was serviced, or it's sourcing.
It was sourcing.
It was sourcing.
So why sourcing?
Yeah. I'd spent, I think, about 9 months like reading stuff and watching YouTube videos and listening to podcasts and just looking at different ways that we could get into property. It's my cousin. I was having a conversation with my cousin, and we were talking about what we could do.
Was it the same one that came?
It was the same one. Yeah, it was Angelique. Yeah. And it sort of just struck a chord, and then I just delved into it and started reading. And the more I read, the more I learned, or more I wanted to learn, and more I realised I didn't know. So So then I can't remember what I saw, and it led. I must have listened to something that said that there's a massive group community on Facebook, which I had no idea about.
It's a little secret society. Unless now you know about it, then you know that there's so many.
So much. So it was that I just.
So you started off looking for sourcing.
Yeah.
Why sourcing? Because is it you heard that the figures were chunky and you could make money from sourcing, or is that because there's so many property strategies out there? Why did that one catch your attention?
Because we didn't have the revenue to buy a property.
Cool.
So I thought this is something that we could do, and we could slowly build up our pot, and then maybe buy something, because I think we were thinking, we could buy some land. There was like cheap land in Kent, and it will only appreciate, and we'll just do that. But we didn't even have that money. Yeah. So I thought, sourcing would be good. Get like 2-3 grand a month, maybe, if we source successfully.
But for the people that don't know, sourcing essentially, also known as deal packaging, is when you find a deal for someone and you do all the negotiation and then you sell it on to that person for 1,000, 2,000 or 3,000. So that was what you guys wanted to get into. So you met me, and did you come to any of my introductory events?
We did. That's the first one we did.
So you came to an intro event.
Yes.
That would have been somewhere in London.
Same place.
Same place, all 3 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, they got so much business from me. That's why we had to get our own office. So you came to the intro.
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
Yeah.
How was the intro for you then?
It was well. It showed that you were well informed. So not just about you, but it showed that you were well informed. To me, it showed that you knew what you were talking about. You tried to break down a lot of complex subjects into simple bite-sized pieces, but you also had a very limited amount of time. Yeah. And you were also, I think what convinced me, you basically just said that I couldn't just show you this all for free. There'd have to be you investing in it yourself.
Absolutely.
is part of what it's going to make this happen.
Very
right?
upfront.
Very upfront about it. So I thought a lot of people try and scam
based
on just in 12 simple steps.
Your life is gonna change in a second, and that's not the truth. Do you know what I keep hearing that? And that's not to make myself sound great, but I keep hearing. Reminding myself. People keep reminding me that I always say that, and I think it's subconscious now. Because I've got to the place where, and we were having this conversation just before the camera turned on, and I'm saying, charge people. Be intentional about money. Because the fact is, again, you guys are Christians, aren't you? Yeah. So from a Christian point of view, I get told off a lot because people say, well, if you're a Christian, why are you charging Christians? And I'm saying, well, that's the issue in Christendom. That's the issue, because you want everything for free. And many a times where something comes for free, you can't value it enough. Yeah. And I'm probably sure I mentioned this at one of my events, maybe the ones that you were in. I now get people to stand up, people that want to do some training, and I say, are you married? Do you have a spouse? And I ask them the simple question, if you paid for training and you decide to go home and you don't do the work, what would your wife or your husband do? They're going to give you a kick up the bum because you've now taken money that was supposed to use for the house and you're effectively chilling, watching you on Netflix
it's good
instead of doing the work. Our you's absolutely amazing. Well, guys, don't be like that guy. What's his name?
I can't remember. It just...
but
it's just the fact that...
don't be like him.
Go.
It's the weirdest thing ever. He loves you, but he kills you because he loves you. So you came to the event. You saw some value. You thought or assumed I was credible enough to teach you the strategy.
Definitely.
And then you guys signed up and you paid me money for it. Would you say paying played a part in pushing you to pursue the strategy?
I personally think so. I think I'm the kind of person that when you talked about it, it resonated with me because it's not like I don't value things because I don't pay for them. I'd rather get anything for cheap. I'd rather pay no money. So if I have to pay something, it's gonna really. You
want to get your money.
It's gonna. Because
I know when you guys came to the training, so this is now the paid training. You guys asked a ton of questions. You wanted to get your money's worth,
literally.
And I was happy to give you your money's worth.
You were.
So if we fast forward, you came August.
I think was the one in June.
Earlier on June.
One in
June. We went to the serviced accommodation first.
Which we didn't know anything about.
And that's another thing. Sorry, because at your training at first, we just wanted to get sourcing. We had no clue what serviced accommodation was. Right? We had no clue. But your training said there are strategies. One of the first things you said was there are strategies. You can't just go into this thinking that you're going. No, you need to have a strategy. Otherwise,
what are you selling?
Yeah, what are you selling?
Yeah. So again, just for the camera. so many people say, I want to source. And then they go to these obscure training programs and they learn how to source every single strategy in the world. But the problem is, if you're not focused on one, how do you develop the skill? How do you develop the knowledge? So I remember exactly what you're saying. You guys came to me for sourcing. I feel bad now because you came to me for sourcing, but I sold you, I sold you a different product. Yeah. I sold you serviced accommodation, and I explained what I always explain to every single person. I teach 2 strategies. But I don't teach sourcing by itself. I teach serviced accommodation as your core strategy in terms of that's your income strategy, and then deal packaging or sourcing is just to add. It's an add-on because you've got to know the specific strategy so you can source effectively.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Which makes total sense. And again, something we never, if we just turn up to the sourcing training, the paid for one even, without knowing it'd have been out of context.
I'll be talking about, well, this is how you analyze this deal, this is what you do, and you'll be like, this doesn't make any sense.
What is the deal? What am I selling?
But interestingly now, if we fast forward, you guys are doing more service accommodation than sourcing at the moment.
We are. Yeah.
I feel bad or I feel good. I don't know.
Well, again, what you've sold us is what you told you sold us. We've got knowledge of service accommodation. So when we do get into sourcing,
you've got that as the
we've
foundation.
got the core. I think learning the business of sourcing accommodation means we know what people are looking for now. We've even got a group of people that were on one of your courses that...
You guys are all networking together. I love that. Sometimes I get scared when I hear that. Because even the people that did the training today, they were like, oh, we're going to network together. And I'm saying it takes one bad egg to say, oh my God, I hate TJ. And everyone says, I hate him. But I'm ready to fight everyone. So it's fine. I will find my way into that WhatsApp group. I think someone from your set was actually in the training today. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, on the deal packaging?
Yes.
Okay, we had someone said they wanted to do it.
Because I think some of the people at the service accommodation one, but then you were saying actually at the time, these guys are going to learn sourcing.
Yeah,
this is going to be a thing. And we were really happy. We're like, I can't wait to do the sourcing and learn that sort of side of things. And I think when we posted on the group, I think you posted on the group.
Yeah, I did. And said that we've got the property.
Yes.
And then people were then interested because like, oh, it actually
works. Yeah. See, this is the thing. Sometimes it takes. This is one of the things I talk about even at my events in terms of pushing yourself to go out there and opening the gates for other people. So many people, we don't do enough, but we complain that society's not fair, the community's not growing. But sometimes what people need is just to see one person do it and to say, okay, it is possible. Let me try and do it. So I love the fact that you guys are the inspiration in that group. So well done. I don't even know who's in that group anyway. But well done. So you came in July and August. You did 2 sets of training with me, service accommodation and deal packaging. We settled on service accommodation as the core strategy. And you picked up your first unit in where?
Canary Wharf.
In Canary Wharf, yeah. So you met up, you viewed the property, you liked the property, you put an offer in on the property. Now, this is the part where we get totally honest. Is it a get-rich-quick scheme?
No.
Absolutely not.
I think the deal packaging would be more of a get-rich-quick scheme, actually. But I think more time is needed for the deal packaging, which is probably why we haven't done it yet, because it just takes so much. And we work full time, and I do shift work and all that, so it's just not.
So interesting you mentioned that, actually. So you're both in full-time work. Let's give the people some honest insight, because so you managed to get your first unit. Well done. You're now running the business since November. So you're 2 months, coming up to 3 months-ish in the business. Let me ask you some quick-fire questions. Is it easy?
No, it's not
cool.
easy. No.
So I wanted that to be, because people might think I'm goading you guys to say, yes, it is easy. It's absolutely not easy.
It's not easy.
But 2 questions. First question is, you paid money to learn this. Would you say that what you learned was worth it, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say
that. Number 2, would you say that paying money caused you to actually take some action straight away?
Yes, definitely. I say wholeheartedly.
Otherwise, I would have just carried on reading for another year and watching more YouTube videos.
And then
preparing.
Some reading to prepare.
And then, let me say, and then number 3, would you say that have you had any issues since you've been running your property?
Oh yes.
Yeah? Tell us some of the issues that you had.
So you go first, and then if you forget any, then I'll...
I'd say I'd say some of the first issues were just, like you say, there's a time period in between signing and becoming a tenant, and then trying to fill it, and as in getting furniture in, and then getting a tenant, getting guests in.
Yeah.
So the issue was just the logistics of all of that, and not wanting it to be empty for too long, because now you're paying the rent, which is not what you want to do.
So number one is the period of securing the property to starting. So would you say, so make sure you don't forget what you were going the other ones, but would you say that maybe next time having systems in place to make sure you can start generating bookings even before maybe you pick up the keys, or maybe quicker on furnishing the place as well?
Quicker on furnishing, I think.
Quicker on furnishing, definitely,
Because I think...
So I can imagine you saying, I want this specific furniture, and I want this.
I was
very
That's probably what delayed it more.
I feel like we're a good couple in that way, because I'm like, no, just get
let's just do it. Let's just
sofa on, cheap sofa.
It's a horrible sofa.
That's the struggle I had when I first started, because I bought every single thing from IKEA. In fact, that's not true. I'll tell you the truth. I became friends with the manager at a British Heart Foundation charity shop, because I would go there every time. I would buy random items, because I would walk past and I'd be like, oh, my friend works in there now, because I've made friends with him, and he might be selling a lamp that looks like this. I'm like, that's about £6. Yeah, I'll buy it. That bed looks a bit wonky, but I might buy that. I bought random rugs that didn't even fit in. Until I started hiring, and again, I'm not being sexist, I'm just saying this has actually changed my business. I hired a female, and she went in to look at the apartment. She said, I love the concept here, but I cannot work with you unless we change all of this. I'm like, no, we're not changing this, because I spent good £6 on these items.
Is it free?
I love that lamp.
This lamp is amazing. I don't have this in my house. And she's like, that's the problem. But it took someone with a bit more fashion sense, a bit more interior design sense, a bit more understanding of what the customer need, and we were able to kind of revamp some of our things. And again, you see the quality of the bookings that we get, the quality of the people that we get. So I get it from a point of view of, and this is what I teach. So I'm a little bit guilty of it, because I teach the strategy as you want to pay as little as possible to get into the strategy. And I keep saying we want to milk the asset, because it's not ours. We want to get as much money as possible, so that we can grow and save some money. But the problem is there has to be that balance. There has to be the balance.
You have to attract people. You've got to feel like they're kind of being spoiled a bit.
It's the hospitality.
It's the hospitality industry, right?
So we make that mistake of maybe trying to provide a 1-star apartment, where we know that we need to up the levels to get it to 4 or 5 stars as well. And I can see that's the struggle you had with.
Definitely, we're filling it in. Because I was like, well, let's just start now. We've got rent to pay. We're paying out. We're outlaying now. Where the profits coming. So I think it's a good balance, because sorry.
No, go on.
So that's a struggle. I think also the legal aid side of it. So that's another thing that you taught as well. But it's getting our public indemnity insurance. That's a crucial thing. And I was really on that, because I was like, right, if there's anything goes wrong the first night, then we are liable.
Yes. I love that. Thank you so much for reminding me. That's crucial. So I get a lot of people that say, so people come to my introductory event, which is where I then offer an advanced training. And people say, this guy's given us so much at this introduction, I can go off and do it myself. And I can't stop people from doing it, because I've given you information. But I keep saying to people, on an introductory event, it's an introduction. I teach you what the what is. So what is serviced accommodation? What can happen? What can you potentially make?
Literally.
But there's the how to do. So would you say during the training, would you say that you got some value for, or would you say you learned some stuff that's helped you in terms of taking this business to where you've got it to now?
I think one of the best things you do in your training is scaremongering.
Yes.
We really appreciate that.
That's the thing, because everybody sells you the sunshine and roses package. And that's what everybody's like.
You're making
money. There we go, free money. What they don't say is, oh, there's a guy in Northern Ireland who's a 16-year-old.
Trashed their
whole thing, and they're liable for it. What we don't say is, there was a guy who tried to change the lock 7 times on mine. And you're on property, and you're an expert at this.
And I don't hide this stuff. A lot of gurus or experts experts, they keep these things away because number one, they think it detracts from their credibility or their expertise, but they don't actually realize that it makes you more of an expert because you can teach people these things and it shows you've got the experience. I told you guys stories during your training. So my training is very simple. What I want at the end of my training is for people who have paid me to say, do you know what, I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. And at that point I get happier because I'm like, at least they go away knowing what can happen on a good side, but they also know what can happen on the bad side. So if you guys had any parties yet?
Well, it wasn't a party.
Oh.
It was almost a party.
It was almost a party.
It was, yeah. So it was sort of our fault because we had an initial booking, didn't we? And we thought it was fishy, so we cancelled it.
Cool.
And then
was it using the 8 p.m. rule?
It
No, it wasn't 8 p.m.
It wasn't 8 p.m.
No,
How did we?
Because we didn't leave it till last day.
Yeah.
We just cancelled it a few days before. In fact,
Yeah.
what we did actually, what I can remember, because I did the conversation, a lot of the online talking, I asked for a lot of verification
You talked him
and
out of
ID.
it.
So
You talked them out of it.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
This is what you're gonna need. Is,
Can you provide me with your blood type?
and this is the more places you've been to
Exactly.
in the last 10 years.
Yeah. And you didn't,
What's your mum's maiden name?
Literally, all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
so then he backed out.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to pay for that relay.
And we didn't have to pay for that.
Fantastic.
That.
You
You
did
cancelled
it.
it.
Yeah.
Good.
But then someone else booked, and we're like, okay, good. We're not going to lose that money. Someone else is going to fill the place. But we didn't ask her age. I think she was
20.
Was she 20?
1920.
1920.
Either way,
Yeah.
young.
Same thing.
Yeah. So she arrived with a friend. So it was just the two of them staying.
Okay.
And we put in a camera.
Amazing.
We put in one of those Amazon Blink cameras.
Not in the
No,
apartment.
at the front.
Yeah.
So not facing any.
So it's not
Yes.
facing anything.
Cool.
It's just in the hallway, only at the door, just so we can see how many times
Absolutely.
it's open. So we get a little
Smart.
Blink motion
uh,
detector.
Oh, I
thing
love
on
that.
our-
I can
yeah.
teach you guys that. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's why they don't need me, guys. So would you recommend people should get that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think it's good.
I would recommend
How much
Yeah.
is it roughly?
I think it's about
50 to 60. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe £60.
So what does it actually do?
So it records. You can set to how long it records, but I think it's like 3 seconds maximum,
Okay.
and it will save the recording for as long as you want it to, and it's a motion detector. So it's only when the camera is activated that
Cool.
it actually switches on. So it's not always live recording. It's just when the
Motion sensor.
Okay.
yeah, it's a motion sensor detector.
So what that does is, so I preach about something called protecting the assets, which is looking after the person's asset. Because the fact is, what we're doing effectively here is we're making money from someone else's hard-earned assets.
Exactly.
A lot of people make this mistake of thinking, yes, we are in this to make money, but they don't realize that we can only make money as long as we make the landlords happy by protecting their property.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I love that because it's another step in making sure that you can tell how many people are coming into the apartment and you can take action. So you
Yeah.
were telling us about this
Exactly.
19, 20-year-old person. Yeah.
So the first night, she said Carl checked her in.
Okay.
It was fine. But then I woke up in the morning and I saw that I'd had about 15. 15 alerts from this Blink camera, and I was like, and they were all about 1 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, oh my gosh, what's happened? Yeah, and I was on my way to meet someone, so that was a TED talk.
Yes.
So I had to call Carl, and I was like, Carl, there's been all these alerts on the camera. So I think you tried to call her.
Yeah, I called her, and then she didn't answer, but straight away she replied, sorry, I had my boyfriend over last night. Straight away.
Guilt
Yeah.
by
Guilt,
itself.
literally.
Yeah.
Straight away, it's like, okay, you're doing more.
Something's up.
Something's up.
Yeah, because then you can see then each little recording.
Of
So
the
I was
door
going
opening.
of the door opening. So I was going through them, and there were like 6 people at the door. Then pizza delivery, people coming in and out, and drinks. So
But
it wasn't a party.
wild
No,
party.
it wasn't.
No,
Cool.
but then when they left, so then Carl told her, like, look, we can see on the camera, or I think she confessed,
She read it.
because she knew.
You can tell she's one of them
Yeah.
ones already.
Yeah.
Oh, right. It wasn't me. Okay, it wasn't.
One of those ones.
Yeah. Okay.
So she had an extra day to stay, an extra
Yeah.
night. So it was like, well, she knows now if she's gonna
Mess around.
mess around, then it's gonna be obviously it's gonna be found out. And then the next day, again maybe we didn't see it on the camera or whatever, but we found out from the cleaner, was it?
Yeah, because she was supposed to check out.
Yeah, she was supposed to check out. She didn't check out. A boy opened the door, so not her. So this boy just stayed over.
Still there, yeah.
They're still there. She was messaging me all the while saying, "Oh no, we're out already."
But there was someone in
There
there.
was somebody there, and the cleaner was telling us that they were still there.
That they weren't
so
leaving.
we know that she was.
What was she up to?
Well, I think she just didn't. They told the cleaner that we allowed them extra time, and we didn't.
Yeah.
So then we said to the cleaner, look, if you're not comfortable saying you have to leave, then that's fine. Carl was prepared to go down there, but the cleaner was happy to tell them that you've got to go. So she did. They took their time, and then she got in there, and the cleaner called me. He's like, Ture, there's a really weird smell in the apartment. I was like, oh no. So she said, we've looked everywhere, and we can't. No, they had a dog. And the dog urinated on the floor by behind the couch, and they left it there, and there was dog hair everywhere. And we had someone checking in about 2 hours.
Did you guys take a deposit?
No.
See, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So did I ever tell you guys the time where I sacked my mum?
No, what did you
See, everyone thinks I'm being
How did you sack her? You're really harsh to your mum.
I am harsh to her, actually. So I had a number of properties. So I had one in Maidavale, I had one in Peckham Rye, and I had one in Deptford. And this was when I was still cleaning all my apartments myself. So I said, Mum, can you help me out? So my mum had come from Nigeria, she was here chilling. I was like, Mum, I need some help. I just need some apartments clean. I said, no problem at all. How much are you going to pay me? That's why I treat my mum like that. My mum's a hustler. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to pay you X amount of money. You just need to go into Peckham Rye, Fenwick Road, and clean this apartment at 10 o'clock. The guests know they need to leave by then. And I'm going to clean Maidavale. So my mum gets there at 10:15, and there were 6 boys. They hadn't even started showering. They hadn't started getting out. They were still making breakfast. And my mum being nice, she's like, TJ, I can't tell them to leave. I was like, you need to clean this apartment so you can go to Deptford because people are coming to vote soon. So all this nice stuff, they need to leave. She said, no, I've given them an hour. I'm like, well, you don't have an hour. And she said, well, what can I do? I said, Mum, tell them to get out now because we need to get ready for this person. And if you miss this, we're going to lose this customer. And it's a whole cycle and it's all going to cost money. She said, well, don't tell me. And she just said, don't tell me what to do. And I was like, Mum, you're the one that wanted to work for me. So I said, you know what, Mum? You're sacked. I said, Mum, you know what? You're sacked. So I ended up finishing off in Maidavale, went to Peckham Rye, cleaned the apartments myself, and the boys were still in there. So around 12 o'clock, they were still in there.
At 12?
At 12, they were still in there. They were supposed to leave at 10. They were still there running around in their underwear, not getting ready to leave. Like, guys, you need to leave. Oh, and then similar to what those people said, they said the cleaner told them they could stay longer, which I know is not true because my mum is my cleaner and she's just been sacked. And she's just been sacked. And then ever since then, my mum's still angry because I was supposed to pay her £40 and I still haven't paid her that £40 till now. So once in a while, she's like, you still owe me money. I'm like, you still owe me money from the deal that I sold you and you haven't paid me the full amount. So yeah. So no, I really appreciate you guys coming down because what I wanted to do was have a open, honest chat and just find out about, so what's the goal then? Because you've got one service accommodation unit, right? That's in Canary Wharf. That's doing well for you. You're having ups, you're having downs, naturally, just like any business. I know most people want to hear it's all rosy, as you said, and everything's going great, but that's not the reality of life. Like, we know in life there's ups and there's downs, so why wouldn't we have the same issues in business as well? And people argue with me a lot about this, and I was mentioning this to some other people I did interviews with today, about the whole idea of charging people for training. People say, TJ, why do you charge people for training? And I keep saying, well, I charge them because I'm running a business and it's income for me. Number 2, because I believe so much in forcing people to take action, and money many a times causes people to take action. Because the fact is this, we spend 50-60% of our week pursuing money in terms of going to work.
Literally.
So you spend all that time, and imagine having to give up a chunk of that to pay for something and then not doing something about it. So what's the goal for you guys then? So I don't know, let me ask that separate. In fact, let me do it this way. Or when I count to 3, I want you guys to say what the unit goal is, and we'll see if you're both on the same page. So how many properties you want within the next 12 months. Don't look at each other. I know you guys have got powers, you can communicate with each other.
His mum says that.
Oh yeah? That's what happens when you've been married. How long have you guys been married now?
3 years.
3 years. Yeah, 3 years is enough to be able to tell each other's thoughts. And do you know that they say that the longer you are with someone, they start to look similar?
Is that a real thing?
It's 100.
I've heard that before, but how is that even possible?
You guys look similar. No, no, Okay, I might be lying. I don't know if they say humans.
It's a compliment to me.
I've heard. I haven't heard people say about humans. I've heard people say about dogs.
Yeah,
which is so
humans,
weird.
yeah, definitely.
But you believe about dogs, but you don't believe about humans.
Yeah.
Like,
I believe that an owner would choose a dog that looks.
similar.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
that makes sense.
That looks similar because they see themselves in there.
Yeah, in their dog, isn't it?
Yeah. But I don't know why.
Our peaches aren't gonna like more.
Oh my gosh, my hair's starting to grow.
Yeah.
I love these earrings.
Oh my god. All right, so let me count to 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many serviced accommodation units you would ideally want to have in the next 12 months? So symbolically, we're not in January. It would have been better when I said symbolically. But let's say we're in January.
Yeah.
So by December, end of December, 31st, when I count to 3, I want you to shout out how many units you both want to have had.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3.
4.
Woo!
Yeah, nice.
Okay, that's actually really good. Yeah. You said 4, you said 5.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So what do you need to do at this point to get to 4 or 5 units by the end of this year?
I think we need to uptake our sourcing training.
Yeah.
And get and generate our own leads.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do. And then once we know that those work and we've got up to those 4, then we can start training other people. Because that's what I feel like our future is in sourcing. We almost called our company a sourcing company, and that's going to be the overall objective.
So you mentioned something a second ago in terms of at a later stage teaching people what you've kind of gone through. Would your style be similar to mine in terms of, would you tell people that they're going to become millionaires tomorrow? Or would you tell them the ups and the downs and tell people that dogs are coming into their apartments and they've got a few hours to clean the apartment before the next guest come? Because I think there's so much power in telling people the truth with regards to what they're paying for and what they're going to experience. And how eager are you guys to eventually start teaching people this? Is it something on your mind, or is it something that if it happens, it happens?
So I think from my perspective, I think the teaching is, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I would want to teach my closest and best people around me. So that's why I do your strategy. That's why I'd always give them the pitfalls as well, because I want people to know with their eyes open. I don't want my brother to invest in something and fail and say.
Do you know what? I love that. Sorry to cut you off. And I don't know, it's bad habit, guys. Forgive me. I just have so much to say.
I do it to 2 hours time.
Let me finish. So you said something really important. So forget about training and earning as a trainer, but you would love to get into a place that you can teach friends and family and closest ones, not necessarily how to get into property, but how to generate an additional income.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I think more people should have the tools to be financially independent or to generate income. I think it's a way of thinking as much as it's a way of doing. I think it's a mentality as much as it is a business transaction.
Yeah,
I think it's just after that you think, oh, I've got a talent of my own. I can turn that into some sort of profit. Yeah. I can live the life the way I want it to.
And then decide yourself whether or not you want to stay in your work or do it part-time or quit completely.
Essentially, what you guys are selling is the idea of freedom.
Yeah.
Because it means you can do what you want when you want to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That for me is probably the most important thing in the world. I get in so much trouble because I'm so anti the establishment. I'm just trying to seek freedom. I want to do things by myself. I want to do things in my own way. I want to see people do things as well, because again, I always say this, when you have more, you can be more, do more, and give more. You can be in a position to change other people's lives because you're comfortable. But at the moment, if you're not comfortable, you're looking after me. And that's why an additional income is so crucial. It's so important. So I'm so excited that you guys have a plan of growing. It might not happen tomorrow. And it won't happen tomorrow. But you've got the plan of actually scaling up. So let's say your brother or your sister or family member come to you now and they say, I want to get into property. Which strategy would you lead with teaching them first?
This one.
Serviced accommodation?
Yeah, because it's the one we know.
Yeah.
It's like you say, then we can actually give them real life examples and we can give them our own, not interpretation of it, but our own experiences.
Real life experiences.
Yeah. Otherwise, It's just that you could go on YouTube and learn the other stuff.
Yeah.
I can't teach you on that because I don't know enough on it.
But you can teach what you know.
I can teach what I know.
And it's authentic. It's absolutely, that's interesting. So, what is the... So you guys like to travel?
Yes.
Yeah, because since I've known you guys have probably been on like 3 major holidays.
Yeah.
You guys are rich.
So
So you guys went to, I don't know why is it called the Gambia. It's Gambia or the Gambia?
The Gambia is because I remember.
Go on.
Go on. No.
You guys
It used
are
to be the
so
Republic.
sweet.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
guys.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
sweet they are. Can you finish my sentence? No, I'll finish your sentence. It's so cute. That's what they need to be teaching you guys. How to have a good relationship. No, you finish my sentence. No, you cutie. That is hilarious. So you guys have been to Gambia.
Yeah.
You're going to Jamaica
Yes.
soon. And you went to Israel as well. How was
Good
that?
memory.
I do something called mind mapping. So mind mapping is by a guy called Tony Bazan. He's recently passed away in the last year or so. But he teaches you how to remember certain things. So, for example, guys, don't judge me if I'm explaining it wrong for the Tony Bazan fans. If I wanted to remember someone's name and it started with, let's say, C, I know it's really weird. So if I wanted to remember Carl's name, I would then remember like a chainsaw as C, and then I add something else to it. So maybe like a letter. Let's say I might add a 6 to it. So I remember chainsaw, and the last letter in your name is an L, and that reminds me of a 6. But it's just playing around and just tiny little things.
That's weird because I do that randomly myself. Even when I was at the door,
That's
I was
what
like,
geniuses do. So you already
Very
do it.
modest people.
The modest of us. What was Israel?
Amazing.
Yeah?
Mind blowing.
Absolutely.
It's one of the best places I've ever been to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you consider starting a service accommodation there?
Do you know what? I did think that.
Cross your mind?
Yeah, because I spent half the week in Jerusalem with my friend and then half the week in Tel Aviv. And Tel Aviv is where it's at. Yeah,
Really?
100%.
Because I know Tel Aviv is also known as, I think, one of the world's tech hubs.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of business flowing through there as well.
There's so much construction.
Really?
Yeah, all the hotels are lined on the beach. So they're just waiting for...
Yeah, they're waiting for people like us to come and rent a property and rent it out.
Yeah.
Simple,
Well
simple.
out there.
So where are you guys thinking of travelling to, apart from Jamaica, you said? So would you guys explore Jamaica as an option for service accommodation?
It's a good question. I think I actually would because as we talked about before camera, my mum's living there.
Yeah.
And my stepdad has got links in there as well. And there's family we know out there that we'd almost trust to be able to look after it.
Yes.
Even get a percentage or even learn the business if it came to it.
So I think every...
We're going to Toronto in the summer.
Ballers!
But so I used to live there.
Okay.
So I would definitely think about doing it in Toronto because I know the city.
Is it busy?
It's really busy.
Yeah.
And it's busy all year round.
So what I'm trying to say to a lot of people, yes, UK is amazing, fantastic. Use it as the foundational strategy. However, if you've got somewhere else that you can go back to, or somewhere else that's got sunshine or got tourism 24 hours a day and 365 days, absolutely consider it. Absolutely. That's why I decided to get one in Jamaica, because that was my logic in terms of in the UK people are chasing sunshine. So we have that summer period, which is our peak period.
True.
But if we go to Jamaica, if we go to Barbados, if we go to hot places, all year round.
I never thought about that.
So I fell into that because I've always had the idea of service accommodation abroad. A few years ago when I went to Mexico for my dad's, I think, 60th, and this was, oh God, life has changed so much because they forced me to go on that holiday. I had this, and now I travel dozens of times a year. Now, the only problem was, years ago, I didn't believe in traveling.
You didn't believe in it?
It sounds absolutely crazy. It sounds so stupid to say I didn't believe in traveling. But this was my logic. I remember this. I said, if I leave and I'm not working in my business, I lose money. So therefore, I can't travel. So my family booked a 14-day holiday to Mexico. Guess how long I went to Mexico for?
7 days.
4.
You went to Mexico for 4 days.
I went to Mexico for 4 days. That includes flying there, which was 2 days.
Yeah.
And I stayed there for pretty much 1 day and a half or so, and I flew back. But by the time I came back to the UK, the business was still fine. Yeah. But and a lot of it comes down to trusting yourself and trusting the systems that you put in place. But that sowed a seed. That's you. That sowed a seed in terms of, I got speaking to a few people. There were Chinese people there, there were Americans there, there were Canadians there. And I said, oh, how come you guys are here? For the Americans, they said it's just around the corner. For the Canadians, they said, oh, it's just around the corner. And everyone else said, oh, this is year round. Because we've got winter or whatever during our period, but it's summer here. So during our winter, it's summer over there. During someone else's winter, it's summer over there. That led me to go to Barbados. So I went to Barbados and I stayed from Barbados.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
You said you're half Jamaican.
And half Asian.
So cool. So I went to Barbados, did the tour of the island, went past Rihanna's house, hoping she would say hey. Clearly she doesn't live there. And I stayed on a strip, St. Lawrence Gap, is that right?
I know St. Lawrence Gap, yeah. Very, very, very nice strip.
Yeah, so
very
I stayed there, but the problem is, I think it's the only like party place. So I couldn't sleep.
It's just lovely all the time. Yeah, it's lovely all the time.
But then I then calculated how much I had paid for, I think, the 7 days I was there. And I was paying like, I don't know, probably £400 or £500 a night or so.
I'm sure
so I calculated and I was like, that makes no sense. So I went property shopping. I went property shopping and I visited, an estate agent took me around. And he took me literally around the corner to where I was staying and he showed me a block. This was like an abandoned block that was just messed up. And he said, this is $200,000. And I was like, wait, are you serious? For the block. Whoa. It was it needs so much work. It needs so much work. But for $200,000 on the same, round the corner from where I'm paying £400 or £500 per night, I said, oh my God, I'm buying this. Literally, I said, no matter what happens, I'm moving, I'm going to dedicate time and effort to buying this, and this is going to make me a load of money. But I wanted to raise funds, and I couldn't raise enough funds to actually purchase that block there and then I let it go.
And it got sold. And I'm sure now
someone else is enjoying the fruits of,
It'll get snapped up like that.
It's going to go straight away.
Yeah.
But then I decided to start chasing the sunshine. So I was like, that's where the trick is. That's where the real money is. Because yes, during our peak period, that's where we make most of our money. But if you can have peak season all year round,
then there's no down season.
Then there's no down season.
There's no quiet time.
Yeah. So that's where we've been. You just check the camera's still recording. Amazing. Cool.
And you make a good point when you said about how you didn't believe in holidays because you thought of it as time away from your business.
Yeah.
Because we had a dilemma when we went to Gambia because our business was really young. And the three of us were running it, and the three of us were going to Gambia.
Oh, wow.
So we're like, well, what do we do?
Did you draw straws on who stays behind? So, Carl, you're staying behind.
They're not my parents.
Yeah. Wow. So what did you guys do then?
So luckily, we were just going to take it down, weren't we? We were going to unlist it. And my brother said, no, don't do that. Because he runs a business, so he understands about holidays. It freaks him out taking a holiday as well. Because he's a freelancer.
Same thing.
So he was like, don't take it down. Let's just leave it up until at least the day before, see if we get anyone. If we don't, then we can unlist it. Yeah. I think 4 days before, we got someone for the 2 weeks that we were away.
Whoa.
Yeah. Which is lucky, and then we had a changeover while we were away, didn't we?
Yeah, and my brother
checked around.
So who does your cleaning?
We have a woman that lives literally across the road. My brother uses her as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, across the road from us, not from the property.
Okay, yeah. But she goes in and cleans the property for you.
She's fantastic.
What about your check-ins?
So I do the majority of the check-ins. Yeah.
So you meet people, you check them in.
Yeah.
You then check out the property as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the reasons, and the point I'm trying to get to is, you still work. Yes, it's not easy because life would be great if you didn't have to do any check-ins. Yeah. But the reality is you're juggling both of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's something you've got to do. Yeah. So many people make excuses. I want to get into service accommodation. I want to change my life. I want to get into property. But then they're offered an opportunity and then they say, well, I'm working. Well, you've got to make sacrifices. And the sacrifices will pay off once you get to your 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. And then you get to the place that you're now sourcing and selling on deals as well. Now you're teaching friends and family how to be financially free or how to get a financial breakthrough. So let me see. What's the real goal then? So 4 or 5 units is the real goal, but what's
the 12 months there? Yeah.
12-month goal.
But what drives you guys? What is it?
What's the why?
Yeah, what is the why? What's making you guys, pardon my language, hustle and work so hard? What's the goal?
I want to be part-time by September next year, September 2021.
So not this year.
I don't think it's achievable this year.
I love that so much. No, that's fair. That's fair, because I know some people might want me to say, oh my God, you're going to do it in 3 months. I love the fact that you are realistic. So it's based on how you guys are right now. So you factored it based on, I've got 1 unit, if I pick up another one and pick up another one, it's still not enough for you to go part-time.
Yeah, and being able to bring in as much money per month as my job is allowing.
Absolutely. So many people make this mistake. It's the silliest thing in the world. They learn about this strategy, they get their first unit, and they quit their jobs.
Yeah.
It happens so many times, of course, and they quit their jobs, because I get it. For a lot of people, they don't enjoy what they do, and they want to get into property full time. But guys, I'm saying it now, don't listen to all the hype. The reality is, number one, if you want to scale, you're going to need to be able to pass referencing. You're going to need to be able to pass referencing. If you want to buy a property, you're going to have to show salary, you're going to have to show pay slips. And number two, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's an entire business. And the fact is, what makes me laugh is, we've all seen the stats before, that it says, I think it's 1 in 4 businesses fail within the first couple of years or whatever it is. So why would you assume that just because you've had some training somewhere, your business or your property business cannot fail? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so I respect that completely. So we're saying around 18 months, and then you would love to go part-time, and then your main goal is what?
To open up a home for vulnerable adults.
Can I ask why?
Because I like the idea of being financially free, and we'll have more money and being able to travel as much as we want, blah, 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 set our kids up when that happens, blah, blah. But I want to give back to the community, and I want to do more in church and help out people that don't have the opportunities that we have. So I think it would make all this making more money mean something, rather than just us amassing loads of money.
You mentioned something a second ago. You mentioned about church. So you guys, you don't hide it. You're Christians. I don't hide it. I'm a Christian as well. I spend a lot of my time fighting pastors. Like I spend a lot of my time saying, "Hey, pastor, teach your congregation more about money. Teach them about finance." I struggle with the idea that pastors are happy to teach about heaven and teach about everything else, but you don't teach about the day-to-day because think about it, and this is a truth. Finance is probably one of the biggest stressors in relationships. It's one of the biggest arguments or the biggest issues in relationships. And I keep saying to Christians, and I keep saying to pastors and leaders, you've got to get into a place where you understand finance and have enough finance to be able to get on stage comfortably and teach people about finance. Because we're seeing a lot of issues in society because people don't have. We've seen a lot of issues in societies because mothers and fathers are having to work 90 billion hours a day and they can't spend time with the kids as well. So I love what you guys are trying to do, and I love the fact that it's not all about you. The fact is, yes, you can have money, but what do you do with that money? What do you do with it? Whose life can you change? And the thing is, I get so many people that say it. You get many people, many gurus online that say, hey, I want to change this person's life, but genuinely that's not their real goal. They don't care about it. And I can tell just from that question that that's something that's true to you. Because we spoke about this in August. So that's amazing. And I really hope that happens. Let me know if there's anything I can do to actually push that forward as well. Because it would be amazing to play a part in helping people, vulnerable people, change their lives. And I'm not just saying that for the camera, because I would have said that outside of the camera. So don't come for me.
We'll keep you posted. I don't know how long it will take, but
I'll say like a friend of mine is in property. He does house flipping, so that's his business, strategy. But he's saying he's got a 5-year plan. Talk about set 5-year goals. Set goals for like a day, a month, a year. Just set goals. Just get better at setting them. And then so I'll say a 10-year goal for us would be to have a business in there by then. But being that's far. Even a 5-year goal, I think, would be great. But I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yes. Do you know, I respect that. So many people don't make goals. So it's just wishy-washy. So they don't know. And when the right opportunity comes, because it's not a goal, it's not in line, and you can't pursue it, you can't follow it as well. So I definitely wish you guys all the best. I think you guys are going to smash it because you're already doing so. You say, I hope so. I said, you're already on track. I want to hear from you guys in 3 months to say you're tying up another unit. I'd love to set that as a goal for you guys, and we can have another interview to tell me about the struggles of setting up unit number 2 without her input, because you'll do it a lot faster.
Yeah, but it'll be a lot prettier.
Oh yeah.
Look,
you know what, you're right, and we need that.
That's how I realised the balance. This is why we work.
You know, so you just secure it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Make it nice.
Here's a budget.
Yeah. That's important.
Right.
This is how much you can spend.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're gonna.
What I have learned, I think, is especially now we've got one.
Yeah.
I think to get things ready before we get the property.
Yes.
We've got that opportunity.
Yeah, we have the time now.
So potentially, when you view the property, make a list of every single thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So once you get referencing sorted or in the process of referencing, you can already put it into your basket online, so you know what you need to order as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So last, any questions to the people, or any statements or anything you want to say?
No.
Would you recommend people to work with me to get their service accommodation business started? Wait, before you even answer that, I'm not even going to edit this part. So whatever they say, I hope it's something positive, but I'll take that risk. So
I've already recommended a friend of my brother's just to go onto your course and say sort it out for yourself. These are my trials and tribulations, but this guy was solid.
Fantastic. Supposedly I'm solid, guys.
And you've already had one of my cousins on your course. So,
yes! So her cousin just turned up randomly at the course, didn't tell me anything, and then told people that I am the best. So yes. Brilliant. Guys, thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you guys on here, and I look forward, and I'm sure the people look forward to seeing your journey. And if you guys want relationship tips, feel free to follow them. Something I've been asking a few people as well, and it's entirely up to you guys. You guys are planning to scale up. Unless you guys have got really, really deep pockets and like super rich families, then maybe the answer is no to you guys. But would you consider joint venturing with other people?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Definitely.
Coincidentally, or we've discussed that the last couple of weeks. We've been talking about joint ventures.
Brilliant. So what I want to do for you guys watching this, if service accommodation is something you guys are looking at getting into, if you are looking at sourcing deals and you need some deals, I'll put their details down below. I'll put an email address, and as I said, if you guys resonate with them and you think they are people that you can work with, then feel free to send them an email and contact them and see how you guys can work together. Yep. Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good evening.